License fears? Here's what we can do to fight for you now. So you've been charged with an OVWI, more commonly known as a DUI, in Hendricks County, Indiana. And you just got out of jail, and your main question might be, how am I going to be able to continue on with my life and continue driving? Let's face it, in today's day and age, it's hard to live a life without being able to drive. But when you're charged with a DUI, one of the first things the state of Indiana is going to do is request that the judge suspend your driver's license. That's why it's extremely important if you're charged with an OVWI to get an attorney immediately, because there are things that an attorney can do to keep you driving, to save your license while the case is progressing. Now, depending on what sort of things happened in your DUI arrest is going to determine what sort of suspension you're going to get on your license. So if you've been pulled over, the officer notices some signs of intoxication, has you do the standardized field sobriety test, and eventually thinks, hey, look, this person is probably intoxicated. I need to have them take a blood or breath draw. They're going to read you what's called Indiana implied consent. Basically, what that's saying is you have the option to take a chemical test, or if you don't, they're going to get a warrant to get that chemical test, and your license is going to be suspended for 365 days. That's what's called a refusal. So if you refuse Indiana implied consent after the officer has read it, the court is going to order that your license be suspended immediately because of that refusal. Now, if you're a refusal, that doesn't mean that you can't drive. There's a lot of reasons why people sometimes refuse the Indiana implied consent. You're confused. You don't know what's going on. Let's face it, when we watch TV, everyone says, don't talk to the police. Fortunately, this is one of the few situations where it's better to just allow the police to do their job, because ultimately they're going to get what they want anyways. They want your breath. They want your blood. If you don't consent to doing that, they're going to ask for a search warrant to get that, which a judge is going to sign off on. So it's always important to agree to these chemical tests. That way it's easier on your license status going forward. So on the other hand, let's say that you did consent and you gave the officer the ability to draw your blood at the hospital. Now, some judges in Hendricks County are not going to suspend your driver's license until the state has that toxicology results back. So a lot of times you'll go to your initial hearing, the state will ask for a driver's license suspension, but the judge will ask, is there blood results back? If there's not, the judge may or may not suspend your license, but they can still suspend it if they believe that there's probable cause that you were intoxicated. But again, many judges are going to wait till they have that exact toxicology result. If they do have that toxicology result and the state asks for a license suspension, the judge is going to grant that. But again, we can still keep you driving with what's called specialized driving privileges, and that's basically a conditional hardship license. We'll be able to keep you driving to work, school, picking up, dropping off children, doctor's appointments, basically all of your life necessities. A lot of times, it's going to require an ignition interlock device. Now, whether you're a refusal or not a refusal, courts in Hendricks County still, more than likely than not, are going to require this interlock device be in your vehicle in order to keep you driving. Interlock devices can be expensive, but we know a couple different providers that can provide different quotes and best suit your needs. Having an attorney early on is very important, because in Indiana, there are certain deadlines for us to file petitions to keep you driving, or else the court is going to suspend your license. You go into your initial hearing, the state asks for a license suspension. What an attorney can do is ask for a stay of that license suspension to give you and the attorney enough time to file a petition for specialized driving privileges or a petition for ignition interlock in lieu of a driver's license suspension if you were deemed a refusal. So the timeline is very quick at the beginning, and that's why it's very important to call an attorney immediately after being charged with an operating vehicle while intoxicated charge. If you're facing charges in Hendricks County, specifically OVWIs, and you want to keep your license, give us at the Marc Lopez Law Firm a phone call. I know we can help. 317-632-3642. And always remember, lead the fifth.